is Step 1 with Freddie Wilson. Welcome to another episode of Step 1. I'm Freddie Wilson. As a reminder, you can find every episode of Step 1 on Spotify and YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button. If you want to see more Step 1 content, give me a follow on Instagram at Step 1 with Freddie Wilson and on Twitter at Step 1 Podcast. Got a great show for you today. My good friend Jacob Feldstien is back to help us do an NFL preview. Okay, so we did record it a week ago. So some of the storylines we discussed are no longer relevant, but it was a ton of fun recording it. It's an extended interview. You guys are going to love it. It was so much fun. And we got a whole weekend of college football to recap where we learned Florida State is an absolute joke of a team. And Brian Kelly still can't win a big game. And for the first time this season, we will do a full preview of college football and the NFL because football is back. So we got a lot of games to get to. All right, let's ride. All right, college football's back, and week 1 delivered a great show. And it all started last Thursday with Colorado facing off against North Dakota State. Look, I know I've been very critical of Colorado on the show, but I will admit their offense impressed me. But let me be more specific. Travis Hunter impressed me. Yeah, Shador is great and all, but like the offensive line, not great. They have other guys, but like, let's be honest, it's the Travis Hunter show. He carries the team. He is their best player. And when I say best player, I mean best player on offense and defense. It blows my mind that this guy can play offense and defense. And not only that, but he plays the entire game. It's not like he's taking any plays off. Again, the rest of the team looked competent, but again, it's week 1. I am not sold on Colorado winning more than 5 games just yet. They need to prove me wrong. I will continue to be critical of Colorado until they prove me wrong. But again, it was a good week 1. But it was really just a good week 1 for Travis Hunter. If Travis Hunter doesn't play, they don't win that game. That's just my opinion. All right, moving into Saturday, I think it's safe to say Clemson, as we know it, is dead. We've talked extensively about how Dabo Swinney refuses to adapt and doesn't bring in guys for a transfer portal, and it showed on Saturday. No, even if they did bring in transfer portal players, I don't think they would have beaten Georgia. Georgia is clearly the best team in the country. But at least they would have been maybe competitive in this game and also their conference. They used to dominate the ACC, but once the portal started, it just seems like since Trevor Lawrence left, they have not figured it out. And again, I credit Dabo for sticking with not using transfer portal. He's like, we have a way of doing it. We're not going to change it. I give him credit. Like, yeah, that's a great mindset. And I applauded that he's not trying to change. But like, if it's just you and the 3 service academies not using the portal, and the service academies can't use the portal a whole lot because you need a congressional letter to get a guy to go there. So it's not the best company to be in when not using the transfer portal. That being said, because of Clemson's downfall, the ACC is wide open right now. And we'll get into Florida State later. They are a dumpster fire. But Clemson is a well-coached team that just doesn't have a depth of guys to compete. And maybe this year Dabo will join a train of reality and use the portal. I don't think he will. I think it would take a lot for him to use the portal. I think he would have to get fired before he uses the portal. Moving down swamp, pains me to say this. Miami might be back. Cam Ward lit up the Gators, and this was by far the biggest win for Mario Cristobal since taking over a job at Miami. And I think it's safe to say the Florida Gators are in for a rough season. They aren't that good to begin with. They have the hardest schedule imaginable. And I think Billy Napier, if he isn't already on a hot seat, he will be soon because the Florida fans want to win. And this team, you can blame the schedule, but this team isn't competitive to begin with. But the schedule just makes everything worse. Like, they might not even make a bowl game. That's how mediocre the team is, but also just how tough their schedule is. All right, we do have to talk about my team, the Oregon Ducks. Yes, the Ducks looked bad, but I think we got to give a lot of credit to Idaho. Yes, Idaho was probably never going to win that game, but they went all in. They did a lot of trick plays. They took everything out on them. and they were trying to pull off what would have been like the biggest upset ever. Don't get me wrong. The Ducks have work to do on that offensive line, but I think the Ducks will be fine. There's a lot of time before we play anyone good. And also, you know what made me feel better? Sometimes the Ducks do these like highlight videos. It's like Ducks versus them. For the record, usually they're longer. This one was only 2 minutes. Like last season, these were like 10 to 12-minute videos. But anyways, there wasn't a ton of show from this game. It was a rough game. But at the end of the game, in the locker room, Dan Lanning was like, I didn't like the process, but I liked the result. And you know what? I agree. I think he's a great coach, and we're going to be fine. The defense is solid. The offense will get better. At the end of the day, a win is a win. The premier game of Saturday night was down in College Station, Texas, where Notre Dame came in and beat the Texas A&M Aggies. So I think this was by far the biggest win that Notre Dame will have this season. They, don't play anyone too notable after this. So I think if they play like they did tonight or on Saturday night, they will be good. I think they're going to the playoff. The schedule is manageable. And this team with Ryan Leonard at quarterback is a very good team. And they just won a game in one of the toughest places to win in college football. As for Texas A&M, it might be tough sledding, but to be honest, when is Texas A&M better than 8 wins? Not often. So I don't think, maybe they'll win 6 or 7 games, but I think like it's going to be tough sledding. Aggies fans just think they're always a favorite. No, they're not. All right. You're coasting off that one COVID season where you feel like you got stubbed because you didn't beat Bama. All right. Moving into Sunday night. LSU can't figure out how to win in week 1. I've said it before. USC is not that great of a team, in my opinion. But LSU kept on shooting themselves in the foot. All the penalties, bad plays. Like the defense wasn't that great. They had a chance to win the game. And for the 5th time in a row, they are 0-1 after week 1. I hope LSU fans are fed with Brian Kelly. He's not that great of a coach. He can't win the big games. And it's just like, what are they doing with him? They deserve better. He bought himself a lot of time because they beat Bama his first year. And honestly, for an LSU fan, beating Bama is really all you want. Like, yes, I know you've won national championships and you want to be that team, but like, I think being Bama might be better than national championship for an LSU fan. I don't know for sure, but it just seems like you want to beat Bama more than you win a national championship. But I don't think this team's going to beat Bama. Like they haven't beaten them the last couple. They haven't beaten them. They didn't beat them last year. They got smoked last year. They had a Heisman quarterback, and they still couldn't beat Bama because their defense was that bad. And again, Brian Kelly's just a bad to average coach. They deserve better. As for USC, defense looked a little better, to be honest. They can finally tackle. Well, let's see how we feel about this in a few weeks when the wear and tear kicks in and they might not be able to make those tackles as often as they would. Again, it looked like a better defense. Good win for USC. Pains me to say it. But again, they're playing LSU week 1, and LSU just can't win week 1. So I think it might be a fluke. I don't think USC is that good. Finally, we have a Monday night debacle in Tallahassee with Florida State starting the season 0-2. Let's give a lot of credit to Boston College, a team no one expected to be relevant, coming down to Tallahassee to take on a team that on paper was supposed to be better and in theory would want to come out swinging after that week 0 loss to Georgia Tech. But I think it's safe to say Florida State is an absolute joke of a football team. DJ Ugalele is clearly not the guy. The defense was awful. Boston College ran the ball down their throats all night long. And Florida State has a lot to figure out. And I don't think they will figure it out. This was supposed to be the revenge tour. They felt like they got stubborn playoff last year. And instead, they looked like that awful team that tried to play in the Orange Bowl last year. I wouldn't be surprised if DJ's benched after this game. Like, he's had 2 very bad performances. He's one of the biggest busts of a college quarterback in history. And he just can't play. Florida State's a dumpster fire. And you know what? The ACC is wide open. With Clemson struggling, Florida State is clearly out of a picture. I'm actually very excited to see how the ACC unfolds this year. And hey, maybe Boston College will be good. You never know. Maybe I'll go to the game this weekend. You never know. And now, let's get to my interview with Jacob Feldstien. And welcome on a reoccurring guest. What is this, like 5, 6 time on the show?
6.
It's 6. Here to do our NFL preview. You got your Chris Johnson jersey ready to go. All
The
right.
Titans.
I mean, since you wear a Chris Johnson jersey and I want to start the AFC anyways, let's start with the AFC South.
Sure.
It's a this is a tough one this year. There's no clear favorite in my opinion. The Jags, maybe.
No, yeah,
Texans.
I think the Texans are like kind of miles ahead of everyone else. I feel like if Trevor Lawrence was not like it's hard to count Trevor Lawrence out because any year could just be the year where he just decides to put it all together. But I don't see it. I don't know how it couldn't be the Texans.
I
Colts are gonna
mean,
be fun, but
the Jags like had a chance to win last year. It came down to the Colts and Texans game. Like every
mhm,
team except for the Titans had a legitimate chance of winning it last year.
mhm.
And everyone thought the Titans were going to be good last year too.
Did they?
I think at the start of the season, people had some hope.
I don't know. I don't remember that. That
Wasn't
happened.
Derrick Henry on the team last year?
It was last year. That's
Yeah,
true.
if Derrick Henry was on a team, I think people had
Yeah,
like
they might have been like the
hopes.
Muncie or something. All right, fine. You convinced me. But
Maybe before they played a game, people thought the Titans could be good.
could the Titans be
This year,
this
this
year?
year, no.
The worst team?
And they might be. Yeah, who's their starting quarterback this year? Is it Will Levis?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
They just made a trade like an hour ago. You see it?
I did not.
Your Packers, they traded Malik Willis for like a fifth round pick or something.
Okay, glad the Packers have Malik Willis.
It's a good backup quarterback. I thought he was gonna be good out of Liberty.
I feel like that's a reasonable trade. I think yeah,
I'm not excited enough. I
The
don't think
Titans
you have
might be the
to
worst
compete
team.
franchise.
I think the Texans are just. I think they were way better than expected last year. I think that's just only going to go up because I think Stroud was the right choice.
I love what they did in this offseason. I love getting Joe Mixon. I love getting Stephon Diggs. I think we'll get to later. I have some thoughts on like putting new quarterbacks into great situations, but like that's what you want to. You got the guy. He's going to be cheap for the next couple of years. Just capitalize now. Still very solid defense
A
and
defensive minded coach as well, which also
yeah.
helps.
Mm-hmm.
So
And they have Will Anderson or
Will Anderson Jr. Yeah, they got guys like they're a good team.
mhm.
I think I don't think they're going anywhere playoffs wise, but I think they're a clear cut to win the AFC South.
Oh, see, I think they're going somewhere playoffs wise.
You think how far realistically Texans? Like I think we both agree they're going to win the division. It's just a question how far will they go?
I think they can make the conference final. I think they're capable. I don't like I think they're definitely one of the top teams in the AFC.
I mean, I mean, they'll be a top four team just because they'll win their division. But
You know, obviously, but like one of the last two teams in the AFC, I think they could.
all right,
You know,
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I think they could be very good, but also like there's just a stigma of it's the Texans. Like all those years where they were really good with JJ Watt. I know they never had a quarterback.
never had a quarterback. That's not the same. They
It
were
is
never.
not.
What was the
They were good. Like
record
they
when
were
they had JJ Watt? They were. It still wasn't.
DeAndre Hopkins, JJ Watt, and they were winning all those games, never having an actual quarterback.
Who was the quarterback for those years? Schaub and Fitzpatrick.
There was a year where they had like four different
Oh,
guys.
no, it's
There was Brock Osweiler for a year.
Deshaun Watson, who I know
Deshaun
uh,
Watson, but even before
you don't
Deshaun
like as a
Watson came
quarterback
along,
off the field. I think you admire him a lot, but you've told me
before
privately many
before
times.
Deshaun Watson came along, like they were still like a consistently decent team.
I'll tell you something. Then we can get to the AFC North to talk a little Deshaun.
I like that.
I haven't gotten a massage in a while.
Okay.
Apropos of nothing, I feel like I've been having some bad back pain and could really use a massage.
Okay, then go get one.
No, because it's kind of weird.
So the one
And
and
then
only time I ever got a massage. So like the guy comes in, he's like, "Oh, we're gonna get started." I just like literally, I'm not even on the table yet. I just rip off my shirt, like, "Let's do this." Like, whoa, 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 whoa. I leave the room. You take off your shirt, then I come back in. I was just ready to get. I
a
was
little
just
too
like,
excited. Now
like
you got to be more relaxed. Yeah.
I was
Well,
just ready for this.
It was a dude masseuse.
Yeah, I was a dude masseuse. I don't judge.
I do.
Well, it's not like you see them as they're massaging. Your face is in a table.
I know, which almost makes it more intimate. And also, you do face up as well. I would
I
be
did not do face up. I'm not really a face up massage guy. It was for the back anyways.
still.
Got to work the shoulders.
It's not a sexual thing. It's just I don't want like, you know, I'm not Deshaun Watson, but I don't want like a dude massaging me.
I mean, I get it. No judgment. All right. So with that fun segue, AFC North.
Yeah.
I think this might be the best division in the AFC. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I think it's gonna be a tough because like Ravens will be good
Mm.
as long as they all stay healthy. Like, is Derrick Henry staying healthy on the Ravens? I want him to,
He's
but
gonna
there's the curse of being the Ravens running back.
sure, but he's a better offensive line than he did in Tennessee, and presumably less the workload because he'll be, he's not gonna have to run every time with Lamar.
I mean, yeah, like remember when Mark Ingram was like their back and like Lamar? That was an underrated duo, the two of them. Like, I know Mark Ingram is no Derrick Henry,
They had that
but
high backfield. They had Lamar, Mark Ingram, and RG3. They had like some trick play where they were all back there.
yeah, like it was a solid group. And again, like I think Derrick Henry's just inherently better because the defense doesn't always know if he's going to get the ball. There's going to be a lot of read options. There's going to be a lot of like fakes. It's going to be a dynamic offense if he stays healthy.
Derrick Henry could also suck this year. I mean, he's 30 something years old, and on one hand, he's a freak, and he's like just a physical like force in nature, and we've never seen anything like it. But on the other hand, like there's not a great track record of like once run backs turn 30, they just
Also, I think he's going to be more productive because he's just going to be asked to do less. He's not the focal point of our
true.
offense.
True. He'll be very helpful in the red zone. I
Yeah,
believe
like
that.
great red zone threat. Like it's going to be a fun offense. I think that'll be the best offense in the league for sure.
In the league,
I think so. I mean, they got all the guys they need to be a good offense.
I have to think about that, but I don't. I mean, if they're not one, they're going to be whatever 2, 3, 4, something like that.
It's a top three offense.
So there's them.
There's
Best
the
team in the division,
Bengals.
the Bengals.
Again, we're a Joe Burrow podcast. I love Joe Burrow. I will always have a soft spot for Joe Burrow.
I feel like people are kind of forgetting about the
Yeah,
Bengals.
because they weren't good last year because Burrow got injured. As they
Right.
were hitting their stride, then Burrow gets injured.
Burrow started out super slow. It was really bad, but
They start off slow every year, though. Like I don't. If they're like 1-3 to start a season, I still wouldn't be alarmed.
it wouldn't be great.
It's not ideal. Like obviously you want to start well, but like
Last year, I know he got injured, but that's hard to crawl out of. That's not.
it is. But I
One
think
of
they play better down the stretch. I think
it's week 6 before you're back to 500.
I know. But again, I think the Bengals are a legitimate team. Like winning the division, it's hard to say because again, the Ravens are also pretty good.
I could see either of them. I would probably pick the Ravens, uh, but
Is it the Ravens that can't beat the Bengals or the Bengals that can't beat the Ravens? Which how does it go? I know one of those teams can't beat the other. I just don't remember which way it is.
I think the Bengals can't beat the Browns or something.
Oh yeah, that one. I knew there was
Football.
something in that division where like one team really can't beat the other.
Yeah, there's like a weird circular, like the Browns, but the Browns always lose to the Steelers, always lose to the Ravens, whatever. Always lose. I don't know. It's a very weird.
All right.
It's
Steelers.
very interesting. Steelers,
Who's their quarterback going to be? They haven't announced it
wow.
yet as of this.
They have not announced it.
So Mike Tomlin, I think, was on record saying by the end of the business week, it's Monday when we're recording this. So we might not know when this comes out.
They should be on football weeks. They should not be on business weeks. They should be on the week starts on Monday night.
I think it's going to be Russ. I think
It's going to be Russ. I think it shouldn't be Russ.
It shouldn't. I mean, but should it be Fields?
Yeah, I think Fields is better than Russ.
I mean,
I got a little bit of like a Russ. Like last year left a real bad taste in my mouth, but
I think the Denver thing was never going to work out. Like it, even with a new coach, it was never going to work.
I agree it was never going to work. But it's a difference between like, oh, it didn't work out. We went, 6-10. We went like 7-9. Oh, there were some good games. There were no good games.
Wait, was he ever that good of a quarterback to begin with?
Was
Like,
he ever that good?
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he was never a bad quarterback in Seattle, but those defenses were so good that like his job was pretty easy
Well, he did exactly what he needed to do to get them to a Super Bowl, which is like just don't fuck it up, don't mess it.
until he threw. Okay, I don't blame him for the interception in the Super Bowl. I blame the play call.
I would too, but I kind of want to watch that back and just see like it was a bad play call. Is that a bad throw as
It
well?
wasn't a bad throw. It was the fact that it was a bad play call, and the Patriots knew exactly what they were going to do.
And it was beautifully read by Malcolm. Like, you know, it was just
Like,
not.
yeah, like it was a much better defensive play. It wasn't a bad throw. I think any other team it probably would have worked, and Pete Carroll would have been considered a genius. Like they thought they were going to run it, they threw it, it worked. But again, it wasn't meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
I still
Russell
remember
Wilson's
watching
biggest
that play.
thing is he just never had an offensive line. And so it was just all the time. Everything he had to create so much of him just running like 10 yards backwards and everything he did was, you know, but it was just amazing that it seemingly like if he was a surefire like Hall of Famer before, like on that trajectory, but the once he got to Denver, it just ended. I've
Yeah,
never seen that where it's like it was that detrimental to us. And now,
I
you
thought he was
know,
going to be good. I thought like when they first got him, it took like 2 games to figure out what's going to work. But like I thought when they first got him, I thought they were going to be pretty good.
hmm
I thought they had the right dudes like to be good, and it just didn't work.
in Denver, I mean, yeah, it just looked better on paper. And they had defense that was pretty good. They had I remember they had like an awesome defense where it's like if they just scored 14 points a game or something, they would have been undefeated. I don't know what the stat was, but whatever. It's not like 21 and
But they couldn't do it.
they couldn't do it. So yeah, I think you can be more creative with Justin Fields. You
He's
don't have a
he's
lot.
gotta he's gotta hold the ball though. He's gotta like protect the ball and
That's right.
himself.
That's right.
He because again, like maybe this will be a good thing for him being not being the Bears quarterback. It's gonna be an interesting decision, whatever they go with. And yet at the end of the day, they're still gonna win like 8 or 9 games somehow.
Yeah, that's a Tomlin thing. That's what they have. The best of them is just their coaching is just constantly proven to be like
Like
so
I can't name anyone on their offense besides Fields or Wilson. Like who's their receiver like now?
uh
Like
they've
they didn't get Ayuk. That trade never happened as of now.
what the hell's the guy's name? He was George Pickens. They have,
Okay, they have George
and
Pickens. That's
they have Jalen Warren and Najee Harris.
I
And
for, I technology's kind of forgettable. Let's be honest.
who was there? Oh, they have Pat Fryermuth.
Okay, for they have dudes, but like
Don't tell me. I can get one more receiver.
I honestly don't know.
Oh,
Non Antonio Brown.
not Antonio Brown. That guy's got it. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm looking up the wide receiver too. I
uh,
have to.
I honestly don't know. I couldn't. I totally forgot Najee Harris existed. I'm still bitter that I drafted him that one year.
Oh, they have Cordell Patterson. I didn't
Okay,
even have the
Cordell
results up there.
Patterson is old as shit, but okay.
He is older. He's got to be
It's like
super.
35, 36.
Ooh, they got some names. They got Van Jefferson.
Okay, yeah, that really isn't much of a name. But again, they're still going to win 9 games. It's
Well, the
ridiculous.
thing we do have to talk about with them is TJ Watt and is still just phenomenal. There's
It's
nothing.
yeah, again, like as long as TJ Watt's there, the defense will be good. Like they're gonna win games. They're not gonna be pretty games, but they're gonna win those games.
The Ravens, by the way, just to go back, they also have like Kyle Hamilton. I think is fantastic and was great there.
Kyle Hamilton, Patrick Queen, they have a great defense.
Yep. So I mean, it's all around just great defenders. But honestly, what's insane is the best defense in that division is the Browns, who we haven't talked about yet.
We have not talked about the Browns. I mean, Deshaun Watson is I think questionable, or are they planning on starting him for game one?
Oh, I didn't know there was any.
I think they might. I think he's sat out press. I think he's playing. Nick Chubb will be out 4 weeks at least.
Yes, which is insane that he's like alive after that injury. I mean, just
Yeah,
think back on it. That was one of the ugliest injuries.
I think I mean, the Browns shouldn't have made the playoffs last year, but they did.
No, and that was a testament to their defense, which is
And Joe Flacco.
everyone. Yeah, boy,
But
so I think an underrated move, maybe the underrated move of the offseason is them getting Jerry Judy, like
yeah,
still capable of being a
I don't
great.
think
And
we I
last
don't
season,
think we've
Carson
seen Jerry
wanted
Judy in true form.
Hmm?
I think we never saw Jerry Judy in true form in
I
Denver. I don't
agree. I
We never
totally
got it.
agree. You're
And I
sick.
thought he was going to be good in Denver. I think I said this on the show. I really thought he was going to be good.
Yeah, I want him to be good. I like he has like a Star of David necklace because all his teammates just call him Jew for
All
short,
right.
like Judy.
Oh,
They
I
just
get it.
create that. So I'm not Jewish. I like Jews, but like yeah, man, I just got the Star of David thing. So he's my guy. But
All right.
Deshaun, what is insane is if Deshaun Watson was 75% of what he was in Houston, that's a Super Bowl team right there. Because that team just needed a better quarterback. They had everything else. I mean, that defense was a Super Bowl defense.
It was. But then again, like the Flacco thing was fun, but like it was never going to work long term. Like Flacco was running on fumes.
Yes, I agree.
I think I tried playing with Flacco and Madden last season, like for kicks, and like it was rough.
You went out there with a walking cane and everything.
I mean, you could first ball over 20 yards with Flacco on Madden.
No.
All right, we're done. Down to north. Want to go where we got west and east?
Less
Go west. I have some thoughts on the west. I want to start with Denver. Bo Nix. I will say it every week on the show until I'm wrong. Bo Nix is the guy Denver needed.
He looked pretty sick, hasn't he?
Like again, I'm biased because I went to Oregon, but he looked good. Like
Mhm.
I really do think that he is the right fit for Sean Payne's offense. And again, like think about it. Sean Payne got Drew Brees to be like an all-time guy. Drew Brees would have never worked on any other team, in my opinion.
Oh,
That's
not.
a bold take, but think about like what did Drew Brees do well? He made just good reads. He threw good short passes, but like he wasn't like a
Murray
freak.
didn't have many turnovers.
He wasn't a freak athlete. He wasn't like this like crazily
Neither is
passionate.
Brady. Neither is Charles. Neither
Okay.
is anyone.
Okay, I'm making a bold claim here, but I still stand
Yeah,
by
fine.
that. Like
I understand the point that he was certainly helped by Sean Payne a lot. I don't
I
think
think
Sean
that's,
Payne
but
is what
I think it's the right offense for Bo Nix.
that I agree with, and I think
And I
going
think,
inside is a big help.
but I also think like yeah, like you hear all the stories. Like apparently, like when they went out to Oregon to like do a private workout Bo Nix, like they like the night before the game to play, but like here, like study this, like we're gonna talk about it tomorrow, and like he knew the whole thing the next day, and then like Sean Payne's like, all right, Bo, I see what's in your backpack because he's like, there's no way this guy's that good.
Right.
You know what was in the backpack?
What was it?
A lacrosse ball, a football, and the Bible.
The big three.
The big three. So I think, yeah, I think Bo Nix is the right choice. I will run this campaign that he's winning rookie of the year. Every
Okay.
time I say that, they say I'm wrong. I don't care. I
He just won
really,
the starting job.
he won the starting job, but I think like, yeah, they're not like, a top tier team, but I think they're going to be a much better team than last year.
Is Pat Surtain the best cornerback in football?
He might be, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's him or Sauce, or I don't think Sauce is great, but he's not.
Sauce is good, but like Patrick Surtain's good. And again, like I think Denver needed a quarterback. They got a quarterback.
Yes, they did, but I think we're spending like it's not. They got a good young guy. We'll see what happens, but I don't think they're doing anything.
It's not gonna be like the best season in Denver history. But again, I
No,
think they're gonna be better than people think.
you want him to look better than yes. You want him to have some good moments and build off of that. So they're in a position. Felt like they drafted him a little early, but it doesn't matter. Once you have him, you have him.
I mean, I think they knew they wanted that guy, and they were like okay with doing that. I think yeah, they could have gotten him a little later maybe, but I think it was a perfectly good pick. I think they wanted their guy, and they got him.
Yeah, they got him. So you can't.
Yeah. All right,
Raiders.
Raiders. I'm excited for the Raiders
this year.
I'm excited. Minshew
Bring it
Mania
in.
3.0.
Hmm?
Minshew Mania 3.0. It started
Do
at
they?
Washington State, went to Jacksonville. It's in Vegas. I'm all for it. I think,
People
yeah,
like
we
you're
talked about it on the show last week. Like, being a Raiders quarterback is rough. They're not that. I like looked into it. It's a tough job to be good at.
being the Raiders quarterback.
I think there's like one Raiders quarterback who's won more than 100 games in his career with the Raiders.
Well, you blaming like, I mean,
They've had a lot of quarterbacks,
I know they have. Minshew is not. Wait, who was the one? Derek Carr?
and it wasn't Derek Carr. It was like some other guy. They
Table?
won it.
What are you talking about? What was the set?
There's been like one Raiders quarterback who won 100 games with the Raiders, and I think there's only two who even played 100 games.
Not Kenny Stabler?
I think it's Stab. I
Wait.
think it's Stabler. Yeah, it's like Stabler and Carr, the only ones who played more than 100 games,
Yeah.
and I think one and Derek Carr never got to 100 wins. I think Stabler's the only one with 100 wins.
Um, it's just weird. Devontae Adams is just there and he's just doing his thing, but it's
I think Minshew might be the guy. I'm telling you. I think
Minshew.
he's
Minshew's
got
not
dudes.
to like winning, but I think he can help Devontae a lot. Minshew was like very like hyper targeted.
I think Devontae started playing better at the end of the season because I think he was just happy that they were actually like making a change in the organization. I think they liked Antonio Pierce. Great choice to resign to keep him the coach.
Yep. Got rid of Josh Jacobs, which I think is organizationally that's a smart thing to you don't want to overpay.
And he's on the Packers, so I'm happy for that.
Sure, we'll take it, and Zamir White's going to take over. Max Crosby's going to be Max Crosby. He's going to play 100%.
Oh, it's going to be an awesome defense. Like Antonio Pierce is a defensive guy. It's going to be an awesome defense.
I don't know if they're going to be great. They're going to be. I don't think they're going to be like whatever. Also, what hurts is
I
well,
think good.
but there's some teams they got to play that are.
Yeah, that's the only issue. It's a tough division. You play the Chiefs twice a year.
I don't even think it's that hard of a division. It's just the Chiefs are that good. Should we do the Chargers? Well, let's do the Chiefs. Let's get them out of the way.
Three-peat, yay or nay? I don't think they're gonna get it done. It's time for someone else to win.
I mean, when you say three-peat, when you say three-peat, it's like, if you asked me 2 years ago, hey, are they going to win 3 in a row? I'd say no, but now they've won 2, and all they need to do is win one more.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
I
no.
think they got better they somehow got better in the offseason.
They did get better in the offseason. Although we're starting to get near like the Kelsey ticking time bomb of like
Yeah, but he's still a good player regardless. Like
no, he's a great player, but if he's not the top tight end in the league, it starts to get a little dicey. I don't know. But
Xavier Worthy's going to be a stud. Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown, I think he's questionable for week 1, but he's going to be a stud.
Well, I think Rashee Rice is like I think he's the new star of the.
And also, is Patrick Mahomes throwing a ball? Yes. I think as long as you have Patrick Mahomes, you have a legitimate chance of winning.
What did they do on defense? They lost someone to my Titans, right? Did they lose?
I
think L'Jarius,
sure. Maybe L'Jarius C, but again, like
which matters.
It does matter, but the offense is what you think of when you think of the Chiefs. Like
I know, but
Chris Jones is still great, but again, like it's the offense that runs the show there.
Yeah. No, Chris Jones obviously is still there. Who's always near the top of it.
And Steve Spagnuolo is still great at coordinating defenses. Like I
was about to bring this up. I think I did it like at the Super Bowl review show that we did. But when you look at like the most important moves of that dynasty, it's drafting Mahomes 1, it's like Andy Reid 2, getting Kelsey 3, and then I think like 4 might be Chris Jones, whatever. I think 5 is Spags, dude. That defense has been so great for so long, and so capable that it is the defense fitting of the best quarterback in the league. I think I could talk myself into them having a 3-peat.
I want someone else to win just because I want to see someone else win, but like I would not be surprised if they win.
I think they're the best team, but boy, if you're asking me to tell,
I
yeah,
mean,
pick
it's hard to
them.
tell. We haven't played a single game yet. Like we don't know what we're getting. And also like it's not like last year they started off guns blazing. Like they were not the best regular season team last year. People were starting to even question like could they make the Super Bowl? And then they did.
I'm gonna say they can. They are gonna three-peat. They're just whatever.
Right.
But they're my pick because of what you just said, which is how much they can turn it on in the playoffs. And if they're down by 10, midway through the third quarter, it's not over. And yeah, I'm they're my Super Bowl pick. That's my spoiler.
All right.
Chargers.
Chargers. I'm a Herbert guy because I love Herbert. Uh Jim Harbaugh. I was butcher Harbaugh. Got it. It's it's a good coach. We'll see how it works. They've lost a lot of dudes.
They lost a lot of dudes. I mean, they're doing it bizarre. It almost feels like they just they're they're like
They're in
uh,
rebuild mode. They're
Herbert.
building
Herbert's
around
great.
Herbert.
They're like Herbert's great, but he can do it all on his own. Like that's not the case though. He needs something. And boy, Quentin Johnston was my favorite storyline of last year because he sucked.
Maybe he'll have a good sophomore year. I doubt it, but like
He
maybe
couldn't
he
catch the
will.
ball. Let me find the rookie receivers.
Yeah, he was not great. I know. There was way too many Chargers games on last year. They were they were rough, but
I'm
I
finding the
believe in
list of
Herbert.
rookies. It is like insane. Where would I find this?
I'm still on the quest to find a real life Chargers fan, by the way. I never found one.
No, that was not easy to find.
I know. I put it out of a show. No one ever like submitted me one. Like no one seems to know of a real life Chargers fan.
I don't. I certainly don't.
I mean, they allegedly exist.
Do they though?
Allegedly.
Says who?
I don't know.
I don't buy
Oh,
it.
our friend Dylan, friend of a show in San Diego, because he grew up in San Diego when the Chargers were there, and he says Chargers fans exist. But he's mad that they moved to LA, so now he doesn't root for them anymore.
I would not be happy about them moving to LA if I was a fan.
Well, also, like if you, I don't know if you've ever been to San Diego, they hate LA just as a city. Like we're even outside of like sports, they just hate LA and San Diego. They think they're a better city than LA, which not inherently wrong. San Diego's an awesome time.
San Diego, everyone loves San Diego, but
Like it's an awesome place. It's
I'd be
endless
annoyed if
summer,
that was like
great
if I just
food.
lost my team because my city wasn't big enough or whatever. I'd be like very pissed off.
It's not that they weren't big enough. It's just like the team wanted public money to pay for their stadium, and the city was like, "No, we're
I
not
know there's
doing
no
that."
loyalty anymore. It's sad. I have a list of the wide receivers taken in the 2023 NFL draft.
All right,
I'm just gonna name them. You tell me if they're better or worse than Quentin Johnston. Jackson Smith and Jigba.
better,
Quentin Johnston was the second wide receiver. He went first round 20th pick. Zay Flowers,
oh, way better,
Jordan Addison,
better.
Jonathan
They're all
Mingo.
are they all better?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I kind of think they are. Jaden Reed, your boy.
Oh, he was already better. I already know that.
I don't know if Jonathan. I think Jonathan Mingo probably is. Rashi Rice, better. Marvin Mims, I'm going to say better.
Yeah, they all are
Nathaniel Dell, aka Tank Dell, better.
better.
Alan Hyatt, Giants, I think he's
He
better.
was not, but he's not. He was not better last year.
No, but
All right.
Cedric Tillman, Josh Downs, Michael Wilson, Dontavian Wicks, Puka Nakua, Keishawn Booty, A.T. Perry,
Okay,
Andre
we're just
Iguodala.
bringing names at this point.
I know it's my favorite thing to
I
do.
know. Let's get to it.
Ryan
We
Bell
still got the AFC East to get to.
and
And
the
then we have
League
a whole
Packers.
nother conference.
All right, talk to me about the AFC East.
AFC East. Jets. What do we think?
It's crazy because it's essentially Rodgers' first season there, and that was a team built around uh ready to win as soon as Rodgers steps in. I don't know what they did about their offensive line, if we're being honest, during the offseason, but that was the big problem last year. And if they don't have that fixed, and they were far from having it fixed, if they don't have it fixed, that's not a Super Bowl contending team.
Do you think Robert Salah is on the hot seat if even if Rodgers stays healthy, if they don't live up to their expectations, is Robert Salah on the hot seat? I think he is. I think Jets fans, I think just New York in general has a very short patience because it's New
They
York.
fired him mid-season, but
I
the
think he'll
end,
make it through the season unless they're like really bad. But I think he's on the hot seat and I think he knows it.
yeah, I think they have to just nail it these next 2 years, and if they find out Salah's not the guy, then get rid of him
Because they're going
quickly.
all in on Rodgers and he's got like at best 2 years left, maybe.
Yeah,
Like it's all or nothing for Jets fans. And any Jets fan will tell you they're going to be good this year.
Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall. I mean, that's a talented team.
It's a talented team. But again, like it never worked last year because Rodgers got injured 4 plays in. We'll see.
What about
Uh,
Miami?
Miami, great offense.
Yes,
Defense,
not great.
not great. Can they play well in the playoffs? We'll see. Again, the offense is gonna be awesome again. Mike McDaniel's new look. Interesting.
Yes, yeah, he looks cool.
He looks cool. He's a cool guy, Mike.
I mean, the defense, he seems like the guy. He's also, I think he kind of markets himself in like a way where it's like boy genius, whatever. So when you see him, you think about that. Kind of not market isn't the right word, but like he gives off that perception. But boy, he's doing so much fun stuff with that offense and with all their
You have a
potential.
bunch of guys to do fun stuff with. You have
Hmm.
to. You have the fast receiver and Jalen Waddle. If Jalen Waddle is your second fast receiver, you have a very good team.
Mostert, Devon Achan,
Tua's pretty good. Like you have a
two of the
good
keys have
offense.
done. I agree. I don't know who their tight end is. It doesn't really
Is
matter.
it Gasecki?
I don't even think they really want a tight end, man. Like that just slows them down.
They had time for blocking, but like that's about it.
Yeah. Oh, I
Um,
mentioned this in the Raiders, but I'm a Brock Bowers guy.
you're a
I
Brock
think
Bowers guy. I mean, how can you not be?
I don't think he's gonna be good for like whatever fantasy or something, just because like he's got like Michael Myers and everything, but or
Kobe
Michael.
Myers, Jacoby Myers.
No, they have another tight end. He's like they have two tight ends. It's not a fantasy podcast, so I'm just saying like I think
Yeah.
he's really talented. Thing. Back to Miami. I mean they said like oh they got exposed in the playoffs or they lost to the Chiefs. Is there any shame in
Also, like they lost 7 Chiefs and it was 0 degrees outside. Like
that?
there is
0 degree
no
weather.
shame in losing to that.
I think they could be special this year. And I can see the argument for them being in a you know oh they're a regular season team and the playoffs and everything tightens up. It's harder, but I don't know. I have them winning the division.
I mean, what about the Bills though? Let's move Josh Allen.
Hmm.
I mean, I will always root for Josh Allen.
I will too.
They
But
got rid of a lot of guys on the team, but
they
again,
did the same thing that the
it's
Chargers did, where
same
it's
thing as
like,
the
ooh,
Chargers
Josh
said.
Allen's really good. Let's get rid of everyone else. I don't know why they. I guess it's a money thing, but I
I mean, Dalton Kincaid is a good target.
sure. But then their receivers are Keon Coleman and
Keon
Curtis
Coleman,
Samuel.
I mean,
And,
Keon Coleman's a stud. I know he's a rookie, but he's a
yeah, but
stud.
the rookies, really standing out.
He's just, I mean, I think as long as Josh Allen is your quarterback and he's like healthy, which we haven't have we had any like big Josh Allen injury storylines? We have not. He's durable.
He's been very
Despite the
durable.
despite the way he plays, he's very durable.
He ran last season, and when they brought in Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, they had him run even less. I think.
Yeah. I
I
think the
mean, he's
Bills,
talented, but I don't know what they're going to be doing this year.
I
Just,
think it's going to be a lot of just Josh Allen magic. They have
I think
put
that
a lot of faith in
I,
Josh Allen, and it's better
I
to do
think
that
that's
with
how they're going
Josh
to win
Allen than
games too.
Herbert,
It's just Josh Allen's going to have to carry him.
and I
I mean,
think
quarterback,
he
he's
will.
yeah, it's the same thing as Herbert, but he's better.
All right, big mystery of the AFC East, the Patriots.
Yes,
As Drake, they haven't announced it yet. They are still deciding between Brissett and Drake May.
really.
I think Brissett got banged up yesterday, but they say he's okay. But they're like, Jerome Mayo is not saying anything regarding who's starting. They have not made any announcements as of this
Yeah.
taping. I mean, I've talked to a few Patriots fans. They want Brissett in because they don't want Drake May to get into bad habits early on. I think it's a shame
Yeah,
they're not even considering Bazooka Joe Milton. I think they're really missing out on a great opportunity there.
so,
I love Bazooka Joe. Come on.
sure, but you just can't do it.
I know you can, but how funny would it be if they did?
Would be. It's
They're gonna get. I really want them to get to a point where like halfway through the season, like Brissett gets injured, May's like a bust, and Bazooka Joe saves the day. I want it so bad. It's not gonna happen, but I want it.
if they start Jacoby Brissett, it is like it's such a boring team. Like I couldn't. I mean, they haven't been.
It's already a boring team. Like they're not. They're in rebuild
No, but at
mode.
least you could trick it to Drake May. What can he do? Whatever. That's what we're
He
tuning.
looked
There'd be
awful during preseason.
nothing
Like
worth
there was
seeing.
nothing. He made very few like plays. Like wow, like this guy was like going to be good. Like I never liked him in college. I think he is an NFL quarterback body. I
It's
think
another
he
team in
has.
contention for like worst team.
Yeah, Patriots are. I think Drake May was. It was the right pick at the right place, but I don't think they should have done it.
What would they have done? Traded it?
I don't. I don't. They had no other options. They kind of had to go with it.
Yeah.
But I just think like, yeah, he's. I think he's a nice guy. I think he was highly overrated. But again, like, if I wasn't an Oregon fan, would I have said the same about Justin Herbert in 2020? Maybe. They're very similar. I think they're
Oregon's
very
one.
similar players. Like, no, that's not even true because Drake May never won a conference.
No. Drake May never had like wasn't. Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's not a good comparison. Drake May was never like a legitimate like conference contender. He was on North Carolina. Like,
Yeah. I mean, you see a bunch of clips of him looking good in the preseason, whatever, but they're
I,
highlights. No
I
one needs
watched the game last night. He did not look so good.
Yeah.
It was hard to watch.
No.
Again, it's they're still a year or two away from being relevant again to Patriots. I hate to say it.
I think they're a little farther than that.
I think Jerome Mayo's a good coach, but I think they got a lot of work ahead of them.
He could be. I don't. I think he's still got like a little bit of like the Belichick, like he's the guy after Belichick, and that's gonna make him like
It's just
whatever.
so much
I don't
fun
know.
watching Patriots fans like dreading the new season. Like they
It's
just like,
just a normal team now.
yeah, it's
It's a
fun.
very
It's what
normal
makes
team.
it so much fun.
Yeah, now that they got rid of Belichick, and Kraft is whatever, but
All right. Well, we burned for our half hour or 40 minutes just talking about the AFC.
good.
Uh, we,
Another
have to,
40 on the NFC.
we have to wait 5 minutes before we can start another call because I don't have pro version. I'll
All
send
right.
it to you.
Yeah.
All right. NFC. You already changed your shirt because we're doing the NFC now. Your Brandon Jacobs jersey.
Mm-hmm.
What was it you said? Brandon Jacobs walked so Saquon Barkley could run.
No. We don't say his name.
Oh, you
So
don't say his name
Henry
anymore?
could run.
I mean, I think we got to start in the NFC East.
Let's do it. The beast.
All right. Well, let's start with your boys, the Giants.
G-man. Yeah.
Daniel Jones. Why?
It doesn't matter. Daniel Jones can go screw himself. But here's what we're looking for from the Giants. Two things. Malik Neighbors and the defensive line. It's the only two things I can have fun with those. Malik Neighbors is sick and he will be sick.
Okay, but he needs to got to throw him the ball. That's half the job.
I don't even know if he does. I think just
What are they
direct
going to run?
snap
Jet
to him.
sweeps with Malik Neighbors?
I think just direct snap to him. Yeah, why not?
I think it was the right choice.
It was the right choice.
Did you watch the Hard Knocks?
You could not take a quarterback at 6. There was no
Did you watch the Hard Knocks?
I have not. I don't really.
I haven't watched all the, but I actually really liked it. I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah.
It was very different, but it was like kind of cool seeing like what goes on behind the scenes of like an NFL offseason. Like,
Yeah, it's an interesting idea, and it's an interesting team to do
how
it.
they evaluate, and also how they evaluate talent. Like,
Yes.
I things I never really thought about, like what they do when they're like, especially a team like the Giants, and they had a head start, obviously, with like not making the playoffs.
Ouch.
Like, what would it? No,
So consider these things during the playoffs too. I don't know if it's
I
still.
know, but it's not like they're having like intensive meetings like that with like the coach
Uh,
during if they
yeah,
were in the playoffs. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I guess. I don't know.
But
They um
is this the
they
last year of Daniel
better
Jones unless he gets significantly better?
what?
Is this their last year of Daniel Jones unless you see
Yeah.
significant improvement?
I think so. I mean, kind of depends on how the quarterback draft shapes up, next year. But I think they should be ready to move on from Daniel Jones, and I think that's the right decision because he was the quarterback for
Should have paid Saquon. I know we don't say his name, but they should have paid him.
S''Quon.
They should have paid him.
You shouldn't have because you just that's
I disagree because I think he was better for the franchise than Daniel Jones will ever be. And I know
sure.
like you don't want to go all in on a running back, but like with a guy like that, I think it's worth it.
I don't disagree that he's a better running back than Daniel Jones as a quarterback, but the it's not economically worth it to be paying running backs when you can get 80% of Saquon Barkley for 20% of the cost. You know what I mean?
I guess,
I don't know.
but I think
Devin Singletary is going to be whatever. He's not a long term guy, obviously, but
Saquon was a pretty unique talent, and I think
Saquon was, yeah,
he
he was
still
unique.
is.
Hopefully not. I think
Like,
braces his
well,
leg first play.
I know you're. Let's move on to your least
I don't
favorite
even
team.
put down like a horse, but yeah. All I'll say
The
about the Giants, Malik Neighbors fun, and then the defensive line, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and
D'Lo, Dexter
Lawrence
Lawrence.
is should be fun.
It's a good team. It's
That's
a
all.
good defensive line, but we'll see. We're gonna see plenty of Giants games because we always get national televised Giants games.
I don't know how many there are this year. I mean, there's
There's
obviously a bunch, but I
there's
mean,
probably a couple, at least a couple.
it's gonna be tough to market
They
those.
got us. I know at least for sure they have that Sunday night against the Bengals in like October,
Interesting. Yeah. So yeah. So that's them. Let's
and
move on.
there's gonna be a Giants Cowboys game at
Of
least.
course.
All right. We'll move on to your least favorite team, the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Nick Sirianni, hot seat.
Yes, I thought they should have fired him last season.
I
If
don't.
I'm being unbiased, I would have said they should have fired him last season. I'm glad they didn't. Thank God they didn't because boy,
It was so weird how they just collapsed like that. Like it.
yeah,
It
it seemed like a
just
defensive thing.
like I understand losing to the Niners. The Niners are a great team. The Niners really wanted to win that game to prove they would have won it if Purdy never got injured the year before. Like they lost to the Cardinals. Like no, like
No, they had some pretty embarrassing, but it was a
they lost
defensive
to the
thing. They
Jets. They
didn't have
lost to the
great tackles.
Cardinals.
They didn't have great linebackers or cornerbacks or anything. So it was
It just like it seemed like it was like they were clearly the favorite to win the NFC, like get that number one seed, and they just didn't do it.
yes, yeah.
I
I
I
think
still
they're
think they'll be a good team.
dangerous, but I'm skeptical of the cracks in their armor. Said
Like I think they'll be a good team. It's just a question of like, will they be a Super Bowl contending team or will they be like a decent team? I think I know you don't want me to say his name. I think it's gonna be good. Eagles. I know you're gonna hate to see it,
no,
but I think it's gonna be good.
I think the Eagles are contenders this year. I don't disagree.
I mean, they got a good offense. They got better. The fact that they were able to even afford Saquon is impressive.
So here's the thing about Saquon on the. It was surprising that they got him because Saquon's best thing. Well, he had a lot of best things, but he was great at like short yardage, move the sticks kind of thing. On third and one, on the goal line or whatever. He was great at, and they don't need that. So it's very uh surprising that they would pay him all that money when it felt like they didn't need an elite running back. That it
No,
feels
they
like
they didn't need a lead running back, but when one became available, like
it feels like Howie Roseman likes to win on paper and on Twitter and whatever. It's like and whatever he's made a Super Bowl, he's done
I mean, they
well.
also did win one.
Yes, yeah. So that's fine, but they're that felt like something they could use that money elsewhere.
They could have.
But it's gonna work for him. They're gonna have him. He's gonna have a couple great games and everything. But you know,
We'll see.
yeah, Cowboys.
I mean, we're an anti-Cowboys podcast just because they're the Cowboys.
Sure.
They paid CeeDee Lamb today. That
That
was
was
the
the right
big
thing
news.
to do.
The right thing to do.
I don't know what the hell takes them so long. But
I think they were just trying to figure it out, and also like they have to work. I mean, Dak is going to
knows.
start, but they're still trying to work something out of Dak.
Everyone knows that like they're gonna just give the every single running back always gets paid, or running back wide receiver gets paid. Like
I mean,
every
it's CeeDee Lamb. Like you
is
got to.
always the new max deal, and so what are we just pay the guy a ton of money and that's fine.
He's a pretty vital part of your offense.
And he's deserving of that money, man. He's very good.
Um,
And it makes that whole offense churn. Dak is capable, but I don't know something about them in the playoffs. I don't get it, but every single year it happens.
it was the best feeling in the world watching the Packers beat them.
Oh yeah, that's a whole.
It was like there was like no better feeling than like that happened.
The Packers played like perfect in the second half of that game or something. They had some like
No,
stretch
we
where
didn't play. No, no, like first half was perfect. The second half,
yes,
like
yeah.
we were the game was never really in doubt. Like they had won in the first half. Like yeah, the Cowboys started scoring a little bit in the second half. Like they put in Sean Clifford, and the Packers were like, maybe we put back in Jordan Love just to finish this off. Like let's not make any mistakes. But again, they won it. It was like that's a top three Packers playoff win in my lifetime.
Sure.
Like because from where that team was to how like beating the Cowboys, like all for it.
Sure.
Just not a Cowboys guy, never will be. Is Zeke back? He's back on the Cowboys. Is he back though?
I don't think he's back, but he is on the Dallas Cowboys. Yes.
Will he have a better season? He's had a couple. What was he on the Patriots last year?
Yeah, he was on
Some
Pats last year with Montre.
didn't work.
No, not quite. I
I
don't
think,
think.
I think he's best friends with Dak. I think it's a good move.
Yeah, no, it's. I think it's fine to bringing him back, and he
And
presumably is cheap. I don't know what his contract was, but yeah, it's fine. I
Micah
don't.
Parsons is a
Micah Parsons,
stud. Deron
terrible.
Bland's injured, but
Micah Parsons is so good, man. He's like
Micah
so talented.
Parsons,
They lost, not lost, but they Deron Bland got injured.
he's injured. But again, like it's
But they
good
have
defense.
Diggs,
They had Diggs, but again, is Dan Quinn not being there? Is that going to make a difference?
possibly. I mean, that was an aggressive defense, like consistently just jumping. I mean, they would get burned on big plays, but they would also. I mean, those pick sixes were not a coincidence. I mean, that's how they play defense.
It's a good question to see like how much of it was Dan Quinn, how much of it was the guys they had. It's going to be interesting to watch
Yes.
that. We know we're going to get we're going to have a Cowboys national televised game like at least once a month, if not more, because it's the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So like we're going to see the Cowboys playing. It's not
Those
like a team we can't not watch the Cowboys.
Redskins
You mean the Commanders?
football team, yeah.
Jane Daniels. I was wondering, do you think he remembers that time he met me at the Heisman? I wonder
I
if he
think it's
did.
all he thinks about, yeah.
I
He
mean,
probably
come
remembers it
on.
better than you remember it, yeah.
I have a picture with him. Like, I'm really curious if he remembers me.
Right now, he's talking with someone. He says, "I have a picture of Freddie Wilson."
Like, yeah, like
When did Freddie remember that?
I was tempted to ask him if he wanted to come off a show. Like, I know he's getting a lot of media requests, but I thought about it.
Yeah, but no one's gonna grill him like you would.
I would never grill him. I would talk about his career and
Yeah.
I knew he was good his freshman year at Arizona State because he beat the Ducks, and I'm like, oh, this like freshman quarterback from Arizona State's kind of good. And then like when he went to LSU, I'm like, LSU's got a guy, and like lo and behold, like he was the guy there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like maybe I wouldn't say it was early on the trade, but like yeah, I knew he was going to be good. I
Yeah. I'd be interested to see how he does as a pro, but he was electric in college and has a lot of physical skills that be fun to watch.
yeah, I think it's a new time for the Commanders. I'm finally a new owner. I mean second year, but finally a new owner, new coach. The
Yeah.
Ron Rivera thing was not great.
No, he stunk.
I think Dan Quinn's been a head coach. I think he's a good guy.
It's boring, but he's a defensive guy, right?
Yeah, but I don't think they're winning a whole lot of games this year, but I think they have a very bright future.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then what's the other that was all the
Yeah,
NFC East teams. All
NFC.
right. We want to go south.
Yeah, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Carolina, and Atlanta.
Falcons are mystery. Like, how good's Kirk going to be on the Falcons?
It all starts and goes with them. I
And also, you think the Bucks are irrelevant? You think that was a fluke season?
Yeah, I think Bucks are taking a step back this year. I mean, I like Baker, but I don't see it happening again. I
Mike
admire.
Evans, though.
Yeah, sure. He's
But
got
all right, we
Sterling
were talking
Shepard.
about the Falcons.
I admire them going for it, but they hedge their bets, and I feel like
it was a bold move
they
taking
didn't need to
Penix.
draft Penix. That's hedging. That's like we're
It
going
was
for
a year too early. Like, I understand the
year
idea,
two.
but like you could have gone a quarterback next year. Like, you didn't have to do it this year.
You are risking a Super Bowl now so that you could be
A
okay
Super
late.
Bowl with Kirk Cousins,
I don't think I don't
you're
think
you're
win a Super
risking
Bowl.
winning the NFC South.
I don't think they would win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins. I think they think that they would.
Of course, the Falcons think they
I think
would.
they look at like Stafford going to the Rams. I think they look at Brady going to the Bucks, and they're like, okay, you can bring in a veteran quarterback around a young, ready-made team.
But Kirk Cousins was never that great. Like, at least Stafford, like, yeah, he never had a playoff
No,
win,
Kirk
but
Cousins
like
is always serviceable. I'm not saying.
Stafford was like just like it was the curse of being on the Lions for Stafford. It was not I
Yeah, what does that even mean? I mean, yeah,
it
it's a
was
little bit too much. Like
it's still being the Lions quarterback.
Stafford's better
That's
than Kirk Cousins. I'm not arguing that, but I think their thinking is get the team around him ready and then bring in the guy. And I think they looked around and they said he's the guy. And I
and
don't
then they
think
dropped a
that,
quarterback.
and by the way, well, yeah, but that's not how rookie quarterbacks. Michael Penix would not come in and like
I don't think he would. I think they had the right pieces around Kirk Cousins, like Bijan. What do they have? Bijan? Yeah, they have Bijan. Drake
Pitts,
London,
London.
Pitts. And I think that team was a quarterback away. Desmond Ritter was never the answer.
No, that's the thing is they were
New coach though. Who's their new coach? It's I don't know.
this was like RM or something.
I mean, they interviewed Belichick. They didn't want to do that. I think
Raheem Morris.
Raheem Morris. I think it's an exciting time to.
I think they're gonna win the South. I think
It's an
for
exciting time, I guess, to be a Falcons fan. But I also I don't know how many Falcons fans there are. I think there are University of Georgia fans
you know who's a
who, when
Falcons
they're
fan?
well, I think they do exist, but I also think it's more fans of a Georgia Bulldogs
You've had a
who
Falcons fan
watch
on the show multiple times.
who.
Simon.
Someone's not a Falcons fan.
Simon's a Falcons fan.
Why is Simon a Falcons fan? I've never heard about Simon being a Falcons fan.
I don't know what he is.
I'm gonna text him after this. I've never heard of that.
You're welcome to.
Anyways, back to my point. I think there are people who watch the Atlanta Falcons because they are hungover from the Georgia Bulldogs game the day before.
Sure.
Like,
I think they got it dedicated.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not the Chargers where they don't have fans at all. I just think the Bulldogs are just such a bigger brand in the state of Georgia, but it's just so hard for the Falcons to compete with that.
Who dat? The
Who
Saints.
dat? The Saints. Derek Carr, year two.
Snooze. I mean, what are we?
It's
Oh,
not going to be
Derek Carr's gotta
it's
be
not
on
going to be a
some
good team.
team,
It's
but
not going to be a fun team.
no, not at all.
Like, it's going to be a very boring team. It's unfortunate.
The Taysom Hill of it all can be fun. I don't know. Like, I feel like we're all still waiting for like Taysom Hill to break football, and
I mean, yeah, but there's really not much to say about the Saints. It's a rebuilding year, I guess.
yep.
Uh, Buccaneers.
Well, it's I'll go back to that. They're a rebuilding year, but I don't. Doesn't even feel like that. They're just not bad enough to be.
They're a mediocre. They are the most mediocre team we have this year. They're gonna win like 6, 7 games.
Yeah, that feels like a perfect like six
They're
and 11.
like they're a 6-win team. They're not gonna be great. They're not gonna be bad.
No,
It's a tough time to be a Saints fan. But fortunately, if you live in New Orleans, you have LSU.
yes,
Buccaneers.
yeah, small step
Baker.
back.
I think Baker overachieved. I think
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they'll be good. It's such a winnable division. That's the thing. Like, it's a
yeah.
very easy. Someone has to win it, and I think the Buccaneers have the best pieces to do that.
I see. I disagree. I think it's the Falcons.
The Buccaneers were good in the stretch last year. Baker,
Yeah, but we don't know what the Falcons look like. I mean, they
we
were
don't. And again, like it wasn't like a clear cut that the Buccaneers were going to win that division last year, anyways.
No, they were not.
They kind of turned on the Jets at the end of the season.
They won because someone had to win.
Yeah, someone had to win, and then they got lucky playing a Eagles team that had collapsed.
Yep.
Like it was right place, right time.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think that they're particularly good,
All
but
right,
in that division you don't need to be.
and
Panthers,
then
it'll
Panthers.
never cease to amaze me at just how quickly they just realized Bryce Young just stinks.
So that's the thing.
How
I don't
quickly
think
they
of
lost.
Bryce Young is that. I don't think Bryce Young's spectacular, but I also think Bryce Young hasn't had a chance to be good.
Yes, I think
I
that's
don't think they need an offensive. If he gets a little protection, like maybe he'll be okay.
it's nice. I like seeing organizations surround their young guys with talent. Like I like that they brought in Deontay Johnson,
Yeah,
but I don't.
it's 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 not going anywhere for the Panthers.
No, they took such a monumental, colossal misstep, miscalculation, whatever you want to call it, where it's going to set the franchise back 5, 10 years, and there's just you're going to have to.
It was a bold move making a trade to draft Bryce Young. Like it was not the best decision, but I
You,
think at the
well,
time, like they had
Bryce,
no other options.
that wasn't that egregious at the time.
It was their only option at the time. Realistically, they wanted to like show the fan base like we're trying something new.
The problem was a how quickly CJ Stroud was just like, oh no, this guy's awesome. Everyone knows it, and
I still think the Stroud thing was circumstance. I think Stroud. I don't. I think if the roles reversed, I think we wouldn't be talking about CJ Stroud the way we talk about CJ Stroud. I really do.
no, no, but if CJ Stroud's here and Bryce Young is here, it'd be like here. CJ Stroud would still be better.
I think there's core. I think there's good quarterbacks because they are in the right scheme to be successful. And I think Stroud's a
Sure,
great quarterback, but I also think he's a very good scheme to be successful.
sure. Set
And
all the teams through innocent. No, yeah.
that's all the NFC South. I mean, that's gonna be the worst division.
By far.
It's not. It used to be like a top tier division. It's collapsed. It's awful.
Yep.
I can't say I will be dabbling into too many NFC South games. Although I will mention a couple years back when I was in Oregon, we had a shitload of Falcons games because of Mariota. Like this before YouTube TV started doing red Sunday ticket. So it would be like the Fox team would always be the Falcons because they assumed people in Oregon wanted to watch Mariota.
Mariota's on some team now.
He is on the Commanders. He's
Yeah,
gonna back up Jane Daniels.
you're right.
All right, we got NFC.
West.
Let's do West.
And on your Packers. So yeah, let's do the
Yeah,
West.
let's do West. Let's see. We got Cardinals. No,
Nice there.
no. Marvin Harrison will be a stud, or Marvin Harrison
I
Jr.
think people are. I don't think the Cardinals are gonna
They
make
won't
the
be
playoffs, but I
good.
think Kyler's better than everyone is remembering.
I don't think he ever like he's never been awful. Like he's never been laughably bad. I just think like
No, but I think people think of him like that, where it's like, oh, it's
he got
true.
injured last year.
Yep.
It just I think they could be a lot better this year.
Yeah. Marvin Harrison Jr. is sick. Well, he should be, but
The defense on the Cardinals isn't. I don't know any defensive guys, but
there's someone.
I think yeah, I think they'll be
I
better.
feel like Will Anderson is on that defense, but it's not. They traded that pick.
Yeah, I think he'll be better.
Oh, they
So,
good.
but they only have room to go up, but I think they're not relevant, especially because it's the NFC West and you have some other pretty good teams.
Yeah, so Seahawks.
Seahawks,
Actually, no.
why are they going all in on Gino? Like they have a what are they? Gino is
It's a bizarre thing that I don't fully understand. Where it's like, again, I respect like the going all in, but that's not. You're not going to win a Super Bowl with him. You're probably not going to make the playoffs. You might like scratch the playoffs,
if
but
you make the playoffs, it's because like another team loses in the final week and you are
yeah,
there. Like
I,
that is how they will make. That was how it was supposed to happen last year, and that didn't work as the Packers won.
I almost feel like Gino's like a placeholder until they get like a real guy.
Yeah, and again, like because they have, I mean, how many more years left of DK Metcalf at this level do they have realistically? Like
Maybe they have a couple.
3 or 4 at best. Like they need.
maybe a little more. He's younger.
But yeah, new coach
They have a young defense, man. With
and a
Boone
new
and
coach.
yes,
Pete Carroll is retired.
yeah.
Is
So
retired the
there's
right
new
word?
blood there. But
Is retired the right word? He didn't like retire, but he also like didn't get fired.
amicable parting of ways.
Yeah, like he just felt like it was time to leave. I don't blame him. Like he's old. He's pushing. I think he's over 70. He looks great. Like if I can look like that when I'm his age, I will be so happy.
Yeah,
Like his age, like you watch clips of him at USC, he hasn't aged that much at all. He looks great.
yeah. You know he's at Washington or something. Just helping.
So he's at USC doing like he's gonna be a teacher there. There's rumors that he
Yeah,
might help. If he can help the football team, he absolutely should. Because again, we did a college football preview last week. I think
yeah.
Lincoln Riley's a joke, and I think that's a whole conversation for another
Okay,
time.
yeah.
But Lincoln Riley's a joke.
Um, Rams.
Rams, they they will always be competitive
I'm
if
gonna miss
Stafford stays
Arizona.
healthy. Puka Nakua is a stud. They have Cooper Cup. I think Stafford's still got a year or two left in him.
Yep. I don't know how
Uh,
the defense is gonna be.
they have no more Aaron Donald, but again, like it's a good defense usually. It's not like McVay's a good coach.
That I agree with. Yeah,
I think they will be.
they'll be competent.
They're not going to win division.
No, but they could win like 9 games or something. 10
They'll
games.
make a. They'll be a playoff team,
Maybe. Yeah.
and then
49ers division, man.
yeah, it's the 49ers division. And again, like
Studs.
they were saying last year, like this was the year to win it because like of this iteration. I mean, they didn't lose too many people.
Wow.
Ayuk,
We
well,
don't know.
Ayuk hasn't been traded yet,
I
but
know.
Ayuk,
I feel
the
like he's
fact that
not.
I mean, they could get Ayuk for a lot more than he's worth. I don't know. I understand he's a important part of the team, but like he's like their third option, so they could get other pieces for him. I'm surprised the trade hasn't happened yet.
Pretty good though. Last year, I think he was better than Debo.
I mean, yeah, but
But
they're different players.
yeah, whatever. Yes, but it's
But
a
As long as McCaffrey's still on the team, you're good. The defense is awesome.
yes.
Like it is the year of the 49ers. And again, like they will make a deep playoff run. They as long as they stay healthy, they will be a good team.
It seems like they had a plan and they've stuck to it and they've gotten the talent around to really execute it. And I think when we're talking about like the Seahawks, what are they doing? I think that's what all teams like that aspire to, where it's you can have an okay quarterback. You don't need a Mahomes, you don't need an Allen. You can have a quarterback and then build everything around him.
They
And
won us. They made it to a Super Bowl with Jimmy G.
I know,
Jimmy
yeah,
G's an mediocre quarterback on a good day.
yes,
Like, and then like this like seventh round like last pick of the draft, Brock Purdy. For the record, I knew Brock Purdy was pretty good in college. I saw him at Iowa State. Like I remember he played the Ducks and destroyed us. Like I knew he was a stud. I didn't realize he was going to go that late in the draft. But like
so much later.
I kept a tab on it. Like oh, the 49ers took Brock Purdy like
Yeah.
before he played. I'm like he's pretty good. I know who he is. And next thing you know, he's like almost winning the Super Bowl.
So I think they're capable, and there's no reason why they shouldn't be awesome this year again.
Yeah. All right. The North.
No,
We'll do the Packers last. We got to start the Vikings because I think they're most irrelevant, and that's no fault of their own. JJ
and I
McCarthy
felt
is
bad that
already
JJ
injured.
got hurt. I thought it was
They're starting. They're starting some scrub. Who is?
Darnold.
Oh, Sam Darnold. Yeah, that's a no. It's going to be a rough year for Minnesota. I don't care how good Justin Jefferson is. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, I mean that'll just be like, let's just get the ball to Jefferson, let him have fun.
Yeah, like it's going to be, and I think at least Vikings fans know that they're ready for this. They've been through this, but like they know it's not their year, and I think. Well, it's
But
hard to make a Minnesota fan upset because they're just happy people. Like they just are happy, like
no
to be
reason to
watching football. Well, it's just like I've talked about it so much on the show. Like Minnesota fans are just naturally like happy people. Like I remember like talking to Timberwolves fans, like not mad at like Kevin Garnett like won his championship with the Celtics. Like we're just happy that Kevin like found a place to win, even if it wasn't with us. They're just happy people.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think it's gonna be a challenging season for the Vikings, but I think it's just because of bad luck, and they got bad luck before the season even started.
Yeah, Bears. I'm fascinated
Bears,
by.
I don't think I don't think Caleb Williams is. I think he's gonna be very good. I still think it's gonna be a bad season for the Bears. I think it'll be better than usual, but like they ain't beating the Packers. They're playing the Packers like first time they play is week 11. They play week 11 and week 18.
Yeah,
Like Caleb's gonna be a like either like injured or like beaten up by the time he plays Packers, and I think that's all the Bears fans want is they just want to beat the Packers. I think you could win 2 games if you beat those games against the Packers. I don't think Bears fans would care.
yeah, but I think the Bears are gonna be good.
I don't think they're beating the Packers.
I think they could take one of the
I
games. I
I
don't.
don't think they're not. It's been a long time since I've seen the Bears beat the Packers, and I don't see Caleb Williams changing that. And even then, like
Yeah, you made this argument
say he
all the
wins
time,
one
where
game against Packers here, hypothetically.
you're talking about laundry. Oh, used to be, the Bears quarterbacks, quarterback who wore that jersey wasn't good, and therefore the quarterback who wears that
What
jersey
was the
was
last good Bears quarterback?
same thing with the Jets, same thing with the Texans. Or
But when was the last time like it's a cursed position? When was the last time Bears ever had a good quarterback?
what does that mean?
It's just like I don't know, like some things are just constant in life. Like, I don't know, Newton's 3 loss. The Bears have a terrible quarterback. Those are
I
just
get that,
constants we
but
live with.
ride them until it's not, you know?
I think I said last week on the show, like, okay, Caleb Williams looked great, but like
Caleb Williams is going to be good, and you're not mentally prepared for it. Is what
I
it is.
I I will believe it when I see
You
it.
got to start. You got to start believing it, man.
I
Got to start believing.
I'm not a believer because I again, it's good for the Bears. Maybe
They're
they
doing
fought.
everything in their power to surround him with talent, man. They
Yeah,
drafting
I think again,
Keenan.
they
Getting
have to beat the
Smith.
Packers, and I don't think they will.
They haven't beat the Packers. This isn't the same Bears.
I mean, but they have to beat the. It's not the same Bears, but they have to beat the Packers to be not the same Bears.
Sure, but like, what? Okay, fine.
I just like
So they won't. We won't know
you know
until
how
we.
many times I've seen the Bears beat Packers? Not that many.
Okay,
Like I couple times.
those wins don't count for anything more on the score.
I know it's just
I'm
it's a,
calling.
all right, but yeah, Lions. I think it's the Lions. Are are they getting better or worse? I don't
Uh,
know. I don't know how they're making it work with Jared Goff. I
what
really
have they
don't.
done in this offseason?
I mean, nothing crazy. I think they're just continuing to build what they've done.
I like their kicker. I think he's good.
Okay, they have a good kicker. The Packers don't, but we'll get to that.
Um,
Uh, I
no,
would
they're gonna
like.
keep rolling and be. I think they're winning the division. I know you
It's
think
wild
Packers.
that Jared Goff is making this work.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Jared Goff did not throw a lot of picks for a while. It's the same thing as the 49ers. It's the same thing as, whoever. You don't need, it's the same thing as, well, no. You don't need the guy. You don't need a stud. You just need the guy who fits the system. And they
Yeah,
have,
and if they have that, and I think Kansas City, they're probably the favorites to win the division.
yep.
I think, it must be weird being a Lions fan where, like, for the first time in your life, you really have momentum. You have hope, like, more than ever. Like, it's got to be weird being a Lions fan.
Yeah, last year you would have said that the Lions weren't going to be good because they're never good. Because
I,
that
I
specific
mean, I
team.
knew they were going to be better last year, but I didn't think they were going to be that good.
Yeah, because you just thought that prior
I know. I run with it until things are broken. And again, maybe the Bears will prove
Stafford
me
wasn't.
wrong. Maybe the Bears will prove me wrong. I don't think they will, but maybe they will.
You should be ready
All
for
right,
it. Packers.
Packers. It's the
Get it
year.
over with.
It's the year. It's the year. It's like the year where we really become the Packers again. We're back. You're pretend to sleep.
No, explain why this is the year where it all comes together.
Because I think Jordan Love as a stud, I think, yeah, I know we're basing this massive contract out of 9 games. I don't care. It was the right move. We had to do it.
I agree
Uh,
with that.
I think Josh Jacobs, I will miss Aaron Jones.
That feels
But
like
I
a
think
lot.
Josh Jacobs the right is the right choice to replace him.
I don't think that's like so. I thought AJ Dillon was fine. I don't know. I don't think they had to replace him, but
Hey,
it's fine.
it's a great 1-2 punch. AJ Dillon, Josh Jacobs.
Sure.
I think all of our receivers are speedy. I think we got good receivers. It was good that we drafted an offensive lineman. Like I'm fine. We drafted an offensive lineman in the first round. Like that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Like
It's not sexy, but it is what it
we
is.
we didn't need like we're always like we should draft a receiver first round. Like you know what, we didn't need to do that. Like yeah, it would have been nice to have Xavier Worthy, but we have an offensive line.
Yep. What's the
We
defense looking like?
I mean Rashawn Gary's a stud, Jair Alexander.
Nixon.
Yeah, like it's not like I don't think it'll be like a top tier
The
defense, but I
Super
think
Bowl
it's gonna be
defense.
a good defense.
I think the Packers need to have better than a good defense to win a Super Bowl.
Honestly, you know what the Packers need to do? I was thinking about this earlier. If they could just do well on special teams, the sky's the limit. That has been our kryptonite for the last like 5 years. Like
I guess, but
I always joke, it's not a
there's a
Packers game
couple.
if we don't miss a field goal or an extra point. It's like how
Sure.
can we not? How we're like deciding
There's a,
honors Carlson a kicking competition. Like we signed Greg Joseph. Greg Joseph's not that great. He missed a field goal in preseason. Like great. Like what are we doing here? Like how can we not figure out special teams?
there's special teams can lose you a game, and it's certainly
They've
possible.
lost us so many games.
It's certainly possible that game is in the playoffs,
Like
but there's like a
yeah, because that happened.
all right Super Bowl pick.
I mean, realistically, I don't know. I just want to say the Packers. So here's actually what we're gonna do on the show. Every week, regardless of what we talk about with whatever guest, I'm gonna give a guest Super Bowl pick. So I know you're running with the Chiefs.
I'm going Chiefs over. Huh.
I'm going Packers over the Bengals. Bold pick. It is so not right. I don't care.
I'm going Chiefs over Lions.
All right.
No, so Chiefs over Eagles.
Okay. Again, like if you're on again during football season, which like let's be honest, you probably will be. I might ask you if you how you feel about that.
Right now, it's starting Chiefs Eagles.
All right, let's put it down. So week 1 or Super Bowl. We're putting it down on the notes app. Super Bowl picks. Feldstien. Chiefs Eagles. Chiefs over Eagles. All right. We'll revisit this if you're on the show again during football season. See if you stand
Yes.
by that or if you want to change it.
Yes.
I,
All right.
I'm curious to see what people think throughout each week. I mean,
Yeah.
we got a lot of awesome guests lined up, so definitely want to stay tuned in. Like we got some cool people coming on the show soon. So
Forward to it.
and we're starting streaming eventually.
Yeah.
Uh yeah. It's not gonna be this week, but it's gonna be soon.
All right. Cool.
All right, but it's been awesome. Always great having you on the show.
Dude,
Welcome
I'm
back
looking forward
whenever
to
you
football
want.
season. It's the best.
I mean, are we all like this? I think it's the first year in like 3 years where like I really have nothing going on week 1. Like I actually
Right.
will get to watch football all day, and I'm blessed.
It's gonna hit like crack.
It's gonna be so dope. It's
And
Miller.
then
It's
Red Zone
it's it's Miller time, baby.
forget about it, man. All right.
All right. See you later. All right. Let's get into our preview for this week, and we will start with college football. And it all starts Saturday at noon with Texas going to the big house in Ann Arbor to take on the Michigan Wolverines. This is one of the rare occasions where Michigan is not favored to win at home. Texas is a very good team, and this is a great way to make a big statement before they start SEC play. Like beating last year's national championship at home would be a huge program win for Texas. It's gonna be a fun game. It's gonna be a fun game. The big house is rocking. The offenses are gonna be flying, and this is a perfect game to kick off a Saturday of college football. We also have a big game in Lincoln with Colorado coming to town to take on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. This game's always fun, a great historic rivalry. There's a new sense of hope in Nebraska, and this would be the biggest win for Nebraska in such a long time. If Dylan Raiola can help the Cornhuskers win, knowing how much Nebraska loves their Cornhuskers, This kid will never need to buy a beer in that state ever again. Not only that, if they win, I guarantee you there will be babies born 9 months from now because of his game. Nebraska fans are starving for a signature win. And I'm not joking when I say this. They can have a terrible rest of the season, but if they win this game, Nebraska fans won't care because they beat Coach Prime and Colorado. Also, we got a big game with Tennessee and NC State facing off. Tennessee might have the best offense in the country. After week one, they just showed everyone that they are back on offense. And quarterback Nico, okay, I can't pronounce this kid's last name, so we're gonna call him Nico. He has a hard last name to pronounce, and in the interest of being considerate, I'm not gonna try to pronounce it yet. I will learn. So we're just gonna refer to him as Nico for now. Anyways, Nico's a great fit for Josh Heupel's offense, and Tennessee might be a very good team and a potential SEC contender, by the way. And NC State struggled last week, so I think we're in for a beautiful display of offense from Nico, and I think they're going to cruise an easy win against NC State. And of course, we're going to talk about the Ducks because we always got to talk about my team. Boise State played well last week, but I'm confident that when they play a real team like the Ducks, I think Boise State's going to struggle. I think the Ducks want to prove themselves that they are a good football team, and week one was just a very loud wake up call, and maybe Idaho was secretly really good. Again, I'm not worried. We're going to beat Boise State. We don't play anyone for a while. I'm not worried about the Ducks for now. All right, let's do it. NFL preview. I know we did a big NFL preview during the show, but we got games and we're going to go through some of those games. And it all starts Thursday night in Kansas City, a rematch of the AFC Championship game with the Ravens taking on the Chiefs. We could have not asked for a better kickoff game. Not only are these two teams very good, they somehow got even better in the offseason. I think Derrick Henry fits perfectly into the Ravens offense because with the threat of Lamar Jackson running, they're going to forget that Derrick Henry is an absolute tank. And I think he will be a force in the game. I know he's a little older, but again, I think he'll be able to accomplish more by being asked to do less. Also, the Chiefs somehow managed to get better in the draft by drafting Xavier Worthy. You know what the Chiefs needed? A speed receiver. What did they get? The fastest receiver in the draft. Not only that, the fastest receiver to ever run a 40 ever at the combine. I think he's poised for a great game, a great season, and he is just what Patrick Mahomes needed to be even better than he already is. It's ridiculous. How did the Chiefs get this? Why did we let this happen? Well, let's not forget, since Travis Kelce's on the field, we're going to see Taylor Swift, even if she's not even there, which, let's be honest, she will be. So I'm calling it right now. I think we're going to get 7 shots at Taylor Swift throughout the game. I think maybe more if he catches a lot of balls, but we're going to get at least 7. All right, that's my take. All right, we got a Friday night game in Sao Paulo, Brazil, with the Packers taking on the Eagles. Great way for the Packers to start off a new season. We're going to show off to the great people of Brazil some high quality football. Am I cocky? Yes. But I think the Packers are the real deal. And I think we got better in the offseason. The Eagles are a good team. But I think since the offense is so different than last season, third offensive coordinator in for the third year in a row, by the way, I think this is a different type of offense. I think, they might struggle with some of the communication. I still think they're a good team. I think they'll be good, especially now that Saquon's on the team. But I think they're going to struggle to get a rhythm week one. And I might be delusional, but I don't care. It's week one, and the Packers are on prime time in Brazil. I'm very excited for this game, and I'm looking forward to see the Packers beat the Eagles. I'm very confident. I know this might backfire. Moving into our first NFL Sunday. And well, yes, we finally have football back on Sundays. Pretty underwhelming set of matchups. Week one should be division games, and division games only, in my opinion, or maybe like 1 or 2 high-profile NFC versus AFC games. We don't have that many of them this week. It'll be fun though. I think Texans Colts will be a fun morning game because I'm excited to see Anthony Richardson back on the field. I'm excited to see if the Texans are better in year 2 of CJ Stroud. We got some fun afternoon games. Seahawks versus Broncos. I'll say it again. I say it every week. Bonus. It's going to be good for the Broncos, and I stand by that. I think the Broncos are going to do something they haven't done much in the post-Payne Manning era. Win a week one game. I think the Broncos will prove a lot of people wrong this season, and I'm excited to be on the hype train. And hopping on early because I don't want people saying I was a bandwagoner. No, I was there since preseason. I knew this team was going to be good. Bo Nix is a captain as a rookie, for God's sake. They believe in this man, and I think they are going to be good. And I'm hopping on the hype train early, and I will be staying on the hype train because the Broncos are going to be good. Also, we got Raiders versus Chargers week 1, which is always a great game. I think the Raiders are going to be a lot better this year, but I think the Chargers are in a sense of rebuilding when they didn't really need to. The completely new offense, and I love Justin Herbert, but who's he going to throw the ball to? And again, Jim Harbaugh, great coach. I think their team could be good, but I think they are going to struggle this season until they build a roster that works. And I just think they depleted everyone. And again, it made sense. Those guys were getting old. It was time, but like they really sold shop on this one. Sunday night, we have a fun one. Lions versus Rams, a playoff rematch. This is a revenge game for Matthew Stafford. He lost at Ford Field last year to get he lost at Ford Field last year, got eliminated from playoffs, and I expect him to come out with a sense of purpose. And for the Lions, this is a game to set the tone, but they were still good because yes, last year was great. I want to see if their success is sustainable. Personally, I want the Lions to lose because they are the Packers' biggest threat in terms of winning the NFC North. So I always root for the Lions to lose. And I am very curious if last year was a fluke or if they really got something building in Detroit. I don't think they are. But again, that good of an offense with Jared Goff as a quarterback, it is impressive. I'll give him credit. And Monday night, big game in the Bay Area. New York Jets going up against the 49ers. This feels like an all or nothing season for the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is old. He's coming off a season-ending injury last year. They built a team to compete. This is not a long-term solution, at least on offense. I also don't think, even if Rodgers doesn't get injured after 4 plays this year, that they will beat the 49ers. The 49ers are just a good team, and they were good as last year, and I think they're going to continue to be good. And I think they want to come out strong after losing in the Super Bowl. They're the better team, and even if Rodgers makes it for the whole game, the Jets defense, while very good, I don't think is a very tough matchup for the 49ers offense, where they got just dudes at every position. That's our show this week. Thank you so much for watching. We got plenty more Step 1 coming your way. We got more episodes coming. If you're watching this on Thursday, we probably did some streaming of College Football 25 last night. We're going to keep doing that. So there is so much more to come. We will be back next week. Big Fred, over and out.